name is Robert Deike. I was at Winedale in the spring of 1986, the summer of 1986, summer of 87, summer of 88, the summer of 89, and then I was a assistant to the assistant in 90, as well as in the first reunion play, Comedy of Errors, in 1990. I did, I believe, in 88 spring, 88 spring, I worked on the spring class of 12th Night, and then in 89, the spring class of The Winter's Tale, which is also the first time Madge was on stage there playing Old Shep. And then, yeah, and then Madge and I were in 89, and then I think she was out there when I was in 90. So, you know, various other little tiny things. Just recently, the Valentine's Day bit we did outside that big mansion. Transformative. The meaning for transformative is that I went into the program not really knowing why I wanted to do it, but knowing that I wanted to get on the stage for some reason. And I think mainly because I was afraid of it. And when I actually faced those fears, which I would then face, you know, year after year after year as new fears and new things came up, I found myself transforming from who I had been, who, you know, I tell people that I was, you know, a wallflower. I was quiet. I really wouldn't say or do much. And they said I'm lying. And I'd be like, I'm not lying. It's because Winedale was transformative. It brought my rather local mind into the more global consciousness through all the people that I worked with in the classes, through Doc, through just watching the university and Winedale sort of like live within it. And that sort of like being able to change oneself when you had thought that you were pretty much on a set path is something that I see in Shakespeare. I mean, the opposite too, where you can't change, right? But a lot of the good stuff that I like about Shakespeare is that transformative thing. And Winedale, with the way the program works, the way everyone is out there together, the way Doc guided it, the way James is guiding it now, creates those moments of transformation from, you know, sort of a bit of youthful optimism to like, oh, wait, no, this can be used, this can be harnessed. These people who are with me who may not know exactly how to do this thing as well are learning along with us. And, you know, being sort of thrown on your own, the only thing you had was your humanity, right? Like if you didn't know how to act or what beats were or Meisner or whatever, you could just go with what what Shakespeare was saying and find a key to transform yourself into understanding who that person is. And then take that communication and communicate it to an audience who was watching. And so in a sense, it sort of transformed me into a transformer. No, that's not right. But turned me into somebody who can be a conduit for some old stuff 400 years ago to what people do now, or people like now and will enjoy now. There are two sort of off the top of my head, but I'll go with the first one since it sort of like goes with my word transformative. So it was actually my first production, my first Shakespeare at Windup production, which was 1986, As You Like It. It was a spring class, so you didn't have the whole bit of living there during the summer. You just went out there 3 times. And then you performed the play once on Walpurgisnacht in April. And so I got into that. I think it was Michael Godwin who was like, you know, saying, hey, this is a good class, you should go to it. I'm like, okay. So I took it. And you know, it was a whirlwind. And I lots of things happened during it, lots of friendships, lots of challenges, you know, just a whole welter of information that me as an individual was just, you know, getting, you know, on a almost daily basis. But we got to performance, and I was playing the role of Touchstone. Touchstone is the clown. And the thing that I was burdened with a little bit was the challenge of being funny. When I was like 5 years old, some little kid said I wasn't funny, and I took it to heart for a little too long. So, but I was like, I think I can do this. Let's do this. I think it'd be funny. Let's do this. So we do the play, and it was for me like grabbing hold of the third rail in a New York subway. It was like electrifying, right? Everything was going a way I had never, ever considered it could be. People were laughing. I was suddenly imbued with energy. I'd never had that kind of energy, never felt before. But yeah, people were laughing because they understand what you're saying, and it's pretty funny. They're mostly funny. Pancakes and mustard. Yeah, well. But yeah, you're just like jazzing, right? However, though, because I wasn't used to it, it's like the Icarus legend, you know, where you are like, I'm flying. What's that red ball? I'm not flying. So at one point at the end of the play, Touchstone shows back up to Duke Sr., and he does basically what's a audition to be Duke Sr.'s fool, right? So that includes this one monologue, which is, you know, the various degrees of the lie. There's 7. It's pretty long. It's in-depthy. But at one point in time, I had been working on this. It was like, this is me, the pièce de résistance of my performance. And I was going to say all the lies really fast, one upon the other, and just wow people with how fast I could do it, because I was amazing. You know, and I practiced on it. You know, it's like it's the first retort courteous, the second the quip modest, the third reply churlish, the fourth reproof valiant, the fifth the countercheck coarse, the sixth the lie circumvents, the seventh the lie direct. You know, seems easy. Performance. Remember though, I'm Icarus in my lovely feathers going up there, and I get through the whole speech. And I get to that moment, and it goes like this: the first retort courteous, the second the quip, the fourth the third the, and then absolute complete blankness. No words, no nothing. And this was a packed house. There were like 350 to maybe 400 people in there, I've been told. And all of them, while I'm sitting here in the middle of my audition for the Duke and in the middle of my last speech for them, am suddenly bereft of words. And probably the worst fear I'd ever had was to be embarrassed in front of people, right? So while I'm sitting there looking in horror as everyone is looking, you know, perplexedly at me, I faced that. Like that, the thing that I was afraid of, that I thought wouldn't get to me because I had it all under control, the sun, let's say, was suddenly there, and all the leaves fell off, feathers, leaves, different tellings, and just sort of like, as Doc Ayers would say, is naked on stage and didn't know what to do, and just stood there for a moment, and then the people behind me were probably just going, "What's going on? Is this going to be supposed to be funny?" And I think they got the message that I was bereft when I basically took a step forward, looked up into the top of the barn, and just went, "Ye gods!" And then Valerie Vescovo, who was playing Jaques, jumped in with, "Is this not a funny fellow, Lord," or whatever, stalking horse wit. And after that, I was just shaken. You know, I finished out the play, and everyone was like jumping up and down, and there was applause and all that stuff. But I was like, I'm traumatized. You know, I didn't expect that this would happen. I feared, so on and so forth. And yeah, and so afterwards, everyone was like all happy, and I was just like miserable as heck. There was one time, and so I had a bottle of Captain Morgan's Spice Rum, which was going to be a part of the party thing, and I had a 6-pack of Cokes, and I immediately decided that I was going to go sit on the back porch of the dorm and drink myself silly because I just shouldn't. And so I did that. Actually, one person, and I forget who it was, I came out of one of the rooms into the bathroom, and someone was there, like, hey, you're going to come visit us? Are you going to come hang out in the barn? And I just, without even skipping a beat, just looked at them, was like, I am for other than for dancing measures. And so then, yeah, then I trooped on down there, made my first drink and just started drinking. And then I think crying, I think is what happened. And then just being inconsolable. Like I was going to do something and then I didn't do it, right? Until this weird thought came into my head, which was, who's really mad? And I was like, who's really mad? And the other voice was, it's Touchstone. You really messed up his last speech. And I just looked at that person, and it wasn't a real person, it was me. And I just started to laugh, rusty at first, but still suddenly all of those feelings, all of that trauma, everything that I had felt at that moment was transformed into just the sheer irony, hilarity, sad thing, everything of humanity that I had at that moment was like, hey, dude, you're not the one that's mad. It's this fictional character. And then when I realized that, I was able to transform into someone who didn't care about that stuff so much anymore. And so like the Grinch, I whizzed with my Cokes and rum back to the barn and had a great ending party. And then the next day, I had a different sense of myself, something that I understood was a change that I affected through things that happened to me, but that I could do continually throughout my life. And so that lesson I learned there to transform myself has made me be an actor where I can transform myself into another person, and maybe people believe me, I guess, I don't know. And also to transform in what I want, out of life and become the person to have the life I want to have. Other things happened down the road that were just as hard, even harder. My first summer, that was tough. But that lesson was still there, and it's still sort of with me today. And I guess that's it. How has Winedale impacted me over my life? So even from that first performance of As You Like It in '86, where I was first on stage, first doing Shakespeare, first all doing that, was such a paradigm shift for me in that what brains can do, what you can do yourself, what is possible, what is not possible, how working with people is not as easy as moving, plastic dolls on a chessboard, which is a completely mixed metaphor, but whatever. And, because you have like 20 people in a room and you're going to bounce off a bunch of people, and some people it's going to be great and some people it's not going to be great, and how do you do those things? And I feel that also, like, knowing and how to be receptive to what people are, because you had to do it there, sink or swim, right? You could be miserable, or you could try to at least, get through it. That understanding of people and also of ability to work with people has helped me in my performing career. It's not been like a huge one. I performed in New York once, but it wasn't ever for me the fame. It was more the transformation always. Like, can I transform this time? Will I transform this time? Always a challenge. Always, seeing if it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you're out of the stratosphere, and sometimes you wish you were dead. But always coming to something new with that sense of, at the end of it, it could be transformative. So I would say that's how it's impacted me, and and doing the things that I want to do that that have the fullest effect on folks, because I think that's what Shakespeare kind of wanted, was to, I mean, you want to make money, eh? But he also wanted to affect people. And since we're still doing it to this day, I'm pretty sure he's succeeded. And if he can do it, well, and so can I.